Because I'll never forget, one of my friends had said that if it wasn't for black fiber artists, white white fiber artists would still be in beige and taupes and browns and none of the bold bright colors that us as a black community are drawn to. And I'm
Mm,
kind of just like, you're right though, because when I see a bold color, I don't think, oh, that's so bright. I think, okay, I'm gonna pair that with a bright ass pink, and I'm gonna make a
mm.
cute ass sweater. I'm
I
gonna
love
bring
color.
Y2K fashion to this. I'm gonna bring, I'm gonna bring in like all of my culture into my crochet,
Mhm,
and you
mhm.
guys won't have this without the black community. So why is it that white non-heterosexual men are getting 500,000 followers, and yet black fiber artists are struggling to just be seen in the community that they essentially make the trends for? So
The
yeah.
age-old question, just again, like anything else. Oh my God, just like why are the people who are creating the culture never reaping the benefits
Hmm.
of that work? You know, it's just like we see it time and time again, whether it's like hair or fashion or just like cuisine or anything at all. Just that the people like literally setting the foundations are never going to fit in the finished house.
I like that.
Ooh,
I
wait, let
like,
me write
oh
that in
wait,
my
write that down.
journal. Where's my journal?
I was like, wait a minute, damn. Damn,
My
that's a whole
journal,
quote.
boy.
Hold on. Hey you guys, it's Yarn Guys Cosplay and I'm back again with another video. For the month of February, I wanted to showcase black fiber artists, and today I have with me
Hi, I'm Kalila Jones. I'm a 20-year-old fiber artist currently living, working, learning in Philadelphia, PA.
a I'm so excited to have you here with me today because I've been following your stuff on TikTok for like a hot minute, and the beanie that like you have on right now, like that was the beanie I was just like, oh shit, this is it, this is it, this is when I obsessively follow because I did that. But I wanted to thank you real quick for doing this interview with me and just like being part of my little showcase. This is my first time doing something like this, and I I don't know what happened. Like I woke up one morning and I was like, you know what, crochet community, fiber arts community, you're gonna get black fiber artists. I'm gonna put them to the forefront because y'all got all these magazines and everyone, like there's no POC anywhere, let alone black women. How long have you been crocheting?
I've been crocheting like I would say about half my life. Like since I was in the fourth grade, is when or maybe third or fourth grade is when I first learned and I got the bug because growing up, my great grandma crocheted these big granny square blankets just for people out of the kindness of her heart, and so I was kind of like, well, I want her to think I'm cool, so let me ask my mom to teach me some crocheting, and it was not like an immediate click, you
Mm-hmm.
know. She likes to remind me that ever since I was a kid, I was like, it's gotta be perfect. But when I clicked, it's like it was something special. And then for a while, my GP lived with us, so it's like we were just like talking all the time. I was crocheting. I like got her back into crocheting. Um, and then when she passed away when I was like in middle school, it's kind of my way of remembering her and her legacy. And I just really like had that lifelong love of crochet. You know, even before I was crocheting, it was just a part of my life.
That's amazing. You said you started in fourth grade, so you were like, because my mom taught me how to crochet when I was like 8 years old, and I just remember like making like this god awful purse. Like I was so proud of it, but like it was janky, it was uneven, stitches were
I made
questionable,
one of those too.
and I loved it so much because like I did it. Like I made something and I was proud of it and I did it.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I feel like my mom just wanted me to sit still for a while because like I was very much always like on the go for an 8 year old. I don't know what I was doing, but like I had something to do. And then she was like, "Here, we're gonna learn how to crochet together." And then I sat still for like 8 hours because I was working on my stuff. And then afterward, I think I'm like almost 30 now, and I've just been crocheting like the majority of my life. Were you self-taught, or did you have someone teach you how to crochet?
Yeah, my mom taught me how to crochet, like the basic stitches and how to do a granny square. And then for a little bit of middle school, I actually had a little bit of a tutor. My like best friend on the block growing up, her mom loves to like crochet. Oh, she's doing such cool stuff now, like kind of similar to you, just raising up black voices, like creating community spaces and things. She's a book. Maybe I can send that to you too. There's a
Yes.
little part about me in it now that I think about it, but she would like help me out with when I started doing more advanced patterns. So my mom was like, I don't know what these stitches are. Um, I'm gonna let you go across the street. I'm a text your friend's mom. She knows what's up.
That
And I
is.
guess by the time I got to high school, I was good. I was doing it by myself.
You mentioned earlier that like your grandmother crocheted before you. You said your mom also crochets, or am I getting them mixed up?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So my great grandmother was just like, well, not so much by the time I was born, because she was a bit older, but like when I was a baby and like before that, she was crocheting all the time, and she just made these blankets with lots of colors. They were beautiful. And my mom, yeah, kind of like your mom. I never actually really seen my mom crochet after she taught me. She just like kind of knew because she like learned it growing up too, and like had a book and everything. But she didn't really have time, you know. It was kids raising my brother, so she taught me, but she wasn't really a crocheter. Definitely the crocheter in the family was kind of Gigi on my dad's side.
I don't know if anyone else in my family crocheted. I think my mom, because like I remember my mom picked it up randomly, and we were all like, "What is this?" And she's like, "It's crochet." And all of us was like, "Okay." And then she got like me, my younger sister, all my cousins hooked on it, and I think now only me and like one other cousin like still keep up with it, and like we have our businesses and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it. I think like you just said, like your mom was busy. You know, she was busy being a mom. That's why she like didn't crochet as much. But like it's just kind of cool though, like how you have a great grandmother that also crocheted. Because I feel like I'm gonna be that person in my family. Like they're gonna be like generations later, be like, oh, you have this amazing crochet skill. Like yes, yes,
And we
my
still
great
talk
grandmother.
about it. Yeah, we still talk about those blankets, and they're like still around, still in our house. Like somebody like finds one in their garage, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's Rosalie's blankets," and we're just like, "Oh my goodness."
God, that is so cool. That's what, because like I know crochet like in particular doesn't really, I don't know, fall apart the same way other stuff does. Because, like, you know, like when you have like an organic, like wool or cotton or anything outfit, it's
Yeah,
eventually going to like get a hole in it or tear. And then crochet just kind of hangs around for a decade, unfazed by life.
it's
And
because of the acrylic. I was actually researching that for a class project. Acrylic yarn's like synthetic, and it'll last for ages, 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 which is good and bad. Bad if it ends
yeah,
up at a landfill. Good if you really take care of it. You can like keep it for a long, 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 long time.
and I really want to like talk about because like there's different things in the crochet and fiber arts community that I want to discuss more, but like I am actively learning as I'm discussing because you mentioned how a lot of the yarn we use is acrylic, which is synthetic, not organic, and even though it could last a long time, it's still bad for the environment because it
It
does
is.
last a long time. And there's another crocheter that strictly uses organic fibers. Like she just refuses to use anything else, and because you know she's very much aware of how crochet affects the environment, and I love her for that. But I'm also like, I've gotten very comfortable with my $2, $3
Yes,
skeins of yarn,
that's
and I
another
don't know how
thing.
to break the cycle.
Yeah, it's another thing like accessibility. That's another thing I've just been like learning and researching in my practice is just like if you have this acrylic yarn that's available even at the dollar store now, it makes it so that more people can get into it, which is good. But it's also bad because it's releasing microplastics into the water if you wash these things, or the process that it takes from the fossil fuels to make this yarn that's so vibrant and so beautiful. So it's like definitely a give and take, and I think it kind of comes down in a way to like consumerism and like how much are we like partaking? Like, are we going me, me, me? I know for me, I have a big old yarn wall, and I'm currently my goal this year is to just like whittle it down as much as I can. I just bought a new skein last week, so
No,
I'm not looking, but
you're like,
kind of like just with everything else in our eco footprint, like what are we like consuming, but also how are we treating these things? How are we disposing of these things? And so I'm just like kind of thinking of that because I don't want people to be turned away from crochet because they
mhm.
can't afford to spend $10 on some merino wool. You know what I mean?
No, but and what kills me too is like it's not even like spending $10 on the wool because I will spend $10 on a good organic wool. But why are you giving me 3 ounces? why are you giving me this much
Yeah.
when I could go to Karen and get the 1 pound thing for $10 and I have this much yarn? Like, I
Mhm.
don't, because I remember
Mhm.
at some point I was able to buy, because like I'm trying to lean away from buying from Joann's and stuff, because I know that I have a couple of friends that used to be managers, and I know for a fact that Joann's, when they can't sell something, specifically yarn, they will not give it away for free. They will throw it away. And if you ask for the yarn, the managers, like, it varies based upon store, but the managers are obligated to throw that yarn away. So I've gotten to the point where I'm kind of like, hey, for the sake of my business, I will buy from Joann's when I need to, if I need a product to be the same color, same, etc., etc.,
Mhm.
etc. But if you have yarn and you don't want to throw it away, but you don't want to use it, I've just been collecting yarn. Like, people will just send me yarn, and I will just let it sit in my closet, and I will use it if I need to. I'll let people know that it's a limited edition, one-time product if I use it for a
Mhm.
product. But it's just annoying that at the end of the day, even with consumerism, we still have companies like Joann's and Michael's,
Yeah,
Hobby
it's
Lobby, that will
also the
just throw yarn
company.
away, throw plastic away because they couldn't
Yes.
sell it.
Yes, it's literally like every company, like Dunkin' Donuts, at the end of the day, just throws them out when there's literally people starving on the street. Like, companies make me sick. It's just a cycle, like, at every point.
Do you find yourself interacting with the fiber arts community on social media, specifically like Facebook or Reddit or Ravelry? Ravelry? I never pronounced that name right. But like, do you find yourself interaging with the fiber arts community online?
Um, I'm 20 years old. I don't use Facebook. I literally,
No.
like, tried to make one, and I was like, what? How do I post? What is the feed? How do people see things? And like, why is this a different algorithm than all my other apps? I simultaneously was like, I'm too young for this, and also I feel like an old person because why can't I figure this out? I don't really use um, Facebook. Also, again, I think with my age, and again with the like thing that pre TikTok, it wasn't really popular. It was hard
Mm-hmm.
to find anyone at all with my age, let alone other Black people who also were really passionate about crocheting. Like, I was often the youngest in the room when I would find spaces, or I was like a little bit older because everyone else was like a little kid who didn't even know how to crochet. And so I feel like definitely I'm still searching for those spaces, um, and just kind of leaning into, like, you know what, there will be older people and I can learn so much from them. Let me be in their
Mm-hmm.
spaces. Or, like, I guess mostly Instagram and TikTok are the ways that I will see and interact with people who are also um, in the fiber art. Yeah, that's my answer.
No, I just feel like so, because like I remember getting into like the fiber arts community and like being literally the youngest. And I'll never forget, there was this one library I used to go to. This is like years ago, and they had like a weekly like crochet together.
My library did
And
too.
I remember going there, I think maybe twice, and like I stopped going after a while because I was both the youngest person there and the only Black woman there,
Mm.
and everyone else was this old white woman. And I was just like, you know, the Simpson sound, the "I'm in danger." I'm just like, I don't know, Gertrude. I appreciate you teaching me how to do a shell stitch, but like, I never forget one time one of them called me colored, and I was just like,
Ooh.
jazz music stops. I'm like, okay, well, let
Yeah,
me
to make
learn
it out.
all. Yeah, because I literally just like learned and dipped. I was like, all right, this, and
A
this.
woman
Okay,
with two
cool.
shots to speak.
No, but that TikTok audio though, I don't know. I don't want to say it 'cause I don't want YouTube to be like, what? But like the original one where it's
I
just
know
like
the
I'm
one.
like,
I
it
know the one
lives rent free in my
in my
head.
brain.
So when you okay, so you said you mentioned that TikTok is where you slowly begin to find like the crochet community. Have you okay, so like have you not looked for a crochet community or found a crochet community, and then when it was the same you kind of were just like, okay, I'll just deal with this and like not go any further? Or did you find yourself kind of self-isolating because you couldn't find people like you? And I asked this question because I know for myself, when I realized that the majority of the spaces I would go into were older and predominantly not Black, I found myself just kind of self isolating until I was ready to like. I don't know, come back out and be like, hey, are we doing this now? Like, are we all crocheting? No? Okay, let me go back in my corner and wait another decade.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, it was a little bit of like that self isolating or being like, okay, this is just like another thing that's like only I'm into it, and I just didn't even cross my mind after a while to like find spaces where other people like those things, especially because it's like such an activity where it's like, okay, I'm looking and counting and thinking. I don't even want to interact with anyone, because I'm so focused. So I was like, maybe it's just a me thing, and that's so okay. And I guess it just didn't even cross my mind to like see, oh my God, seeking those spaces where other people were kind of looking for stuff. And it was very recently, I think, I was in this internship interview, and she was like, yeah, it's good to have friends, but you should also find friends like in the fiber arts who share your specific interests, and that's why I really want you to join this team, so you can begin to like be like, okay, like yes, like there are Black people in the fiber arts, like, open my eyes. So, oh my God, yeah, I didn't even think about that until you asked.
But I think that's the reason why I wanted to do this too, because I just distinctly remember feeling alone, but like the feeling just being normal to the point where I just kind of forgot about it. And then later when people ask me, do you have anyone that crochets like you? Or when someone says, oh, you inspire me, I never see it, I just break out in tears. And I'm like, why were you so emotional? And I'm like, because I remember being in these streets by myself.
Yeah, and I think this too, part of it was growing up. I was in a predominantly white institution for like 10, 11 years of my education. And then now I'm in like a new one. So I think literally finding fiber friends, that was low tier compared to like even just finding, other queer friends, other Black friends, other POC friends was always kind of like, I think, in the top of Black in my brain. And so the other stuff, I was like, oh, those are just, it doesn't bother me as much. Those are just personality things, they're just hobbies. But definitely, I think the older I get, the more I'm like, oh wow, like it does fill you up when you find like people who can relate to these intimate elements of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
you
I still feel like I'm not really there of like figuring them out, but maybe soon I will pick them out.
Because you said Black, queer, and you went to predominantly white school,
mm-hmm.
and you're in the man. I mean, twinsies at this point. I have a really weird like bone to pick with white male and queer fiber artists, because I don't know how they managed to like get to the forefront of the crochet community.
It's because they're like not what you would expect, which is just like a white woman. And of the ones I've seen, I've only seen one who actively goes, I have a privilege being like a white man in this predominantly female industry, and I just want you guys to like really think about that. Like, why do you all like me so much? Like, when I post things that aren't crochet, like when I'm trying to tell you about these worldly issues I'm learning about, like, are you still listening? Because there are people, who are not getting the shine. And I was like, he's super cool, but I'm like, he's one out of like how many?
What is that though? Is that, I remember, I think it was Not Bad. The one guy
That's the one.
shared me. Well, he shared me one time in his Instagram story for Black History Month last year. And I was like, okay, great, awesome, thank you, this is great. But I never got shared again or mentioned or a post, anything, just a 24-hour post in his story. And I remember feeling not necessarily jaded, but a really weird, okay, are you remembering Black fiber artists for Black History Month because you're supposed to, or do you actually care long term? Because my only, again, it's not really issue with the individuals, but more so the construct. That mindset. Yeah, it's the abstract construct, because I don't really have beef with people individually. I have beef with the idea, with the fact that the system got them there because they were queer, because they were white, because they are a man who's just so secure in his sexuality that he could crochet. I've heard people say that, and I'm just like, okay, but like, you're still saying white woman or white man, and excluding Asian crocheters, Black crocheters, Filipino crocheters. Like, you're excluding everyone else who will push the culture. Because I'll never forget, one of my friends had said that if it wasn't for Black fiber artists, white fiber artists would still be in beige and taupes and browns and none of the bold, bright colors that us as a Black community are drawn to. And I'm kind of just like, you're right though, because when I see a bold color, I don't think, oh, that's so bright. I think, okay, I'm gonna pair that with a bright ass pink, and I'm gonna make a cute ass sweater. I'm gonna bring Y2K fashion to this. I'm gonna bring, I'm gonna bring in like, all of my culture into my crochet. And you guys won't have this without the Black community. So why is it that white, non-heterosexual men are getting 500,000 followers, and yet Black fiber artists are struggling to just be seen in the community that they essentially make the trends for? So
the age-old question, just again, like anything else, oh my god, just like, why are the people who are creating the culture never reaping the benefits of that work? It's just like, we see it time and time again, whether it's like hair or fashion or just like cuisine or anything at all, just that the people literally setting the foundations are never going to fit in the finished house. Ooh, write that in my journal. Where's my journal?
I was like, wait a minute, damn, that's a whole quote. Hold on. Last two questions. So, what are some of your favorite crochet creations?
Okay, easy peasy. My bird, CIRB, bird. And I just love that, like, I can just do anything. And I feel like for me, it started out where they were this owl shape, like this bird shape. And now it's like, when I say it, it just refers to anything I made when I took 2 or more strands of yarn together and then just like made a thing. I think my favorite one is definitely my yellow cow and my baked bean pillow. And also this mushroom hat that was like really big that I made over the summer. Like, one person from Idaho just DM'd me being like, hey, could you make this? And I was like, we're gonna find out.
I love custom orders because whenever we're just like, can you do this? I'm just like, well, for the low fee of we could find out together, because now I want to make it. Like, I'm still waiting for the day that someone commissions me to make a big ass Snorlax, because I have like this obsession with wanting to crochet a disgustingly large Snorlax, but it's gonna cost a lot of money, so I need someone to commission me so I could do it.
I love original ideas and things that like break out of my box. I'm very specific with what commissions I take on, because I hate doing the same thing again and again. I always have. Like, I always make things that are different, or I have a habit of using yarn that just scraps, and so I'm like, I can't make this again. It's never going to be exactly the same. And I think with capitalism, people want that commodity, that like thing that everyone has. And I can't be the one for that. I just make things to make me happy, honestly. And sometimes people happen to pay me to do it.
That is great. So, are there any other Black fiber artists that you want to bring to the forefront? Throw some flowers to?
Oh, I might have to just send you a little list that you can link, because I'm thinking like, where I just don't know that many of them. And the ones that I do, I'm like, just keep doing your thing. Although I will put people on to one of my favorite Black fiber artists who works in quilting, Lisa Butler. Love her work. And it's like portraits that highlight Black stories, and I find that so fascinating, and I love it, and I like to do it in my work. Like, how can you tell stories that are unapologetically Black? You know what I mean? Look up Lisa Butler. And she just uses color in such a rich and delicious way. So again, bringing that color, that story, that heritage, that little bit of spice that Black people bring. Definitely.
Awesome. That is awesome. I need to check that out later, but thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for showing up. Like, it's me us going to say thank you back and forth for the next 5 minutes, because this was amazing, perfect, delightful, delectable, like just the finest of eatery, because this is the second interview I've done, and both times now my soul has felt fed. My soul is just like, this right here, like
me too. I love this. I've never had a conversation like this with a person before, and I feel like this is just the beginning of that conversation. Like, we can chat for days another time.
No, I'm definitely gonna hit you up later. Like, it's most likely, unfortunately, gonna be like 2 o'clock in the morning because I don't know what it is about crochet and insomnia, but like, there's a correlation between the two because my mania kicks in after midnight, and then next thing you know, I'm crocheting something, and I'm just like, hey, yeah, what's up? Yeah, I started 4 hours ago, and I'm almost done. And my friends are like,
Yeah.
did you
Sometimes I
sleep?
can't sleep. I gotta finish the project.
Yes, you have to. Like, I remember one time my eyes were like heavy, like I was actively bobbing, but I knew I was down to the last 2 rows, and I'm just over here like, we gonna overcome, we gonna get through, we gonna get through. And then when it was done, I put it on, and I sent my friend a video at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and she's like, "Ma'am," and I'm like, "Look what I made! Look what I."
Yes. Goodness. Yes. This is such a delight. Thank you for what you're doing, and of course, send me all these links to these things you're making so I can see and view them and share them because this is wonderful work you're doing. Just even thinking about these things, having these conversations and putting them out there for whoever may see them.
Thank you.
Giving you your flowers.
Thank you. Giving you your flowers. Listen, there's flowers everywhere. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. You can find all the links to Kalila's social media in the comment section below. And as always, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I will catch everyone on the next video. Bye.
Bye.